Hello and welcome to the Wellness Connection with Fiona Kane. My name is Fiona Kane, and today what I'm going to be talking to you is it's the topic of how to be me. And again, it has been inspired by a song. I'm constantly inspired by various works of art. And the interesting thing about art, isn't it, is that we have this it's subjective. So we all take something from it that is personal to us. So when you often hear when the singer or the writer talks about what the song was about, that's not really what it's about for you, but that's the whole point. That's the brilliance of of art that way. But anyway, in this particular case, the song is by Ren, and I've talked to you about Ren before. His name is Ren Gill, so Ren, and the song is called "How to Be Me." And this particular song, he performs it with an artist called Chinchilla, and you really should Google that and check it out. It's just beautiful. "How to Be Me" by Ren Gill and Chinchilla. So with this particular song, what really what really got to me was, and there's so much in it. It's huge. It's just a really, really emotional song, and he refers a lot in this to the loss of a close friend of his. So that's what it is for him. However, one of the lines in the song is, "I've forgotten how to be me." And that really put language around how I have felt in the last little while in my life. We all go through times of change, times of transition, different things in our life. And I know, and I don't think it's just me because I have been having conversations with some other people as well. But essentially, for me, what happened is I've spent a few years kind of doing other things because I was focused very much on my mother's health, and then being there for my mother and supporting her as she was dying. And that all happened during the sort of the COVID lockdowns and those kinds of things. And so at the same time, I went to either not working at home or only working online. So I stopped going out to an office somewhere and seeing other people. And essentially, our lives all shrunk quite a lot. For many of us, they did. And my life was really around keeping my business going and supporting my mum, and just trying to hang in there really. And I used to be the friend who would remember people's birthdays and remember anniversaries and buy great gifts and do all these, I was that kind of friend who remembered things and was there for people and all that kind of stuff. And then I had just years where I was literally broke for several years of really, it's been financially challenging time. And along with that, just lack of time, lack of energy, feeling, emotionally, physically overwhelmed, and really just kind of just hanging in there, really, right? So that's what my life has looked like for quite a long time. And it's really just starting to kind of recover now, and I'm sort of coming back to me. And in that time that I lost a few family members and some friends, and so it's been a big time of grief for me. So just coming out the other side of it, I'm trying to figure out, well, who am I now? Am I the same person that came in on the other side? And I'm not. I actually don't really recognize her, but I do want aspects of her to come back and be here. But I'm also aware that I've just been through so much and so much change that I've grown as a human being. I'm a different person as well. And it was interesting because I saw a couple of friends on the weekend, and there were some people that I went to school with who I hadn't seen for a few years. And it was really it was really interesting because these friends were able to feedback to me who I was to them, and what I'd meant to them, and how important I'd been in their lives, and not just me. Obviously, my friends have been important to me as well. This is just the point of this topic, is talking about me, but I know it's not just about me. I just feel like other people might experience these things, so I just thought, talk about something that I'm experiencing, and you might relate. But yeah, so anyway, these friends did they they told me who I was and who I had been to them, and what a difference I had made in their worlds. And it was really quite. It was, yeah, I can't even describe. Like, I haven't got language for it. It was quite surprising, and quite. It kind of woke me up, or it reminded me. So it kind of just woke up this memory. It's like, oh yeah, okay, I remember her. I remember that Fiona. I used to know her. I remember her. So it kind of awakened, I would say, is probably the word I was looking for. But it just awakened this memory in me of who I was, and who I used to be. And it's so it's just got me thinking this week. It's got me thinking, oh, okay, I know who I used to be. I know who I know who I think I know who I want to be, and I'm just trying to figure out, where am I at? Who am I right now? Where do I fit in all of it? So anyway, I just think it's not just me who is experiencing this. I think a lot of people, so much has changed, and people's lives have changed so much, and lots of things just about our world have kind of shifted in the last few years that have just made everything seem different, or maybe everything is different for some people. So I thought you might relate to that, and I thought I just might share with you that I'm on that journey myself, of just trying to figure out, where do I fit in the scheme of things now, and I do a lot more media work now. I've just actually finished a recording with Channel 9 News, and I love it. I'm really, really enjoying that. So I'm doing more of that kind of thing than I am seeing one-to-one clients. That just seems to be a natural progression that's happening for me. I'm really enjoying doing lots of radio work. I'm loving doing my podcasting, and I'm reconnecting with friends. And I didn't. I thought that reconnecting with my friends would be good for me, for my mental health. And I've talked about that, I think, in some other episodes where I've talked about connection, and I talked about, connecting with other people. And for me, it was like reconnecting with some people from my past, as a way of managing my mental health, because I just knew that I was missing that connection, and I really needed to be connected in. And it's like, that connection to the grid, that connection. I think of previously, that I think might have been last week or the week before episode, but anyway, where I talked about, bees need a hive, humans need a tribe, which is a Johann Hari quote. So I knew I needed to reconnect, and I didn't know when I was doing that part of that would be me finding myself again. I didn't know that that would be part of what it meant. I knew it just meant that I'd have people I was connected to, that I'd have another perspective and be connected with other people. But yeah, I just didn't quite realize that it was going to help me reconnect with me, actually. I think that's what I'm trying to say, is that by connecting with others, it's helping me reconnect with me. So I just want to share this, because I think so many of us are still really not connected with other people, and whether it's reconnecting with older friends, or whether it's connecting with new people, or whether it's going and volunteering somewhere, or joining some group or club, or whatever it is. I think it's just the importance of connecting with other people to get feedback on where you are in the world. And if the group that you're connecting with, it's sort of the feedback isn't so great, maybe you need a different group. Maybe you need to listen to the feedback, yes, or maybe you need a different group. Maybe you don't gel with that group. Maybe you've outgrown them, they've outgrown you, things have changed, whatever. But essentially, when our energies shift, and sometimes we just move away from certain groups, certain friendships, and that's normal, and that is fine as well. So the other song that I was thinking about in regards to this, because there's always a song. Honestly, there is always a song. Come on, tell me there's not always a song. Some people do this with movies. I do it more with songs, but sometimes with movies. So the other song that I just dearly love the lyrics of, and every time I dive back into this song, and actually, by the way, it's not just lyrics. I love these songs, but I love the sound of them. I love the vocals. I love all of that. But I'm talking about the lyrics today. So it's a Crowded House song, Distant Sun. I'm sure you know it. Very popular song. If you don't, fine, check it out, because it's well worth knowing this song. And in this song, they talk about, because I've been talking about, coming out of this time of grief, and it's been really like a darkness. Been a dark time for me, and I've had trouble seeing any light, and I've had trouble uh, feeling like things could change and things could get better. So I suppose I would I would say that I've been depressed. Really, that's the honest language for it, but not sort of randomly depressed for not like a chemical disorder kind of thing. In my case, it's just more a response to life that just I had so many things knock me over all at once that it was harder to get back up this time. And as you get older, I've realized this as you get older, I've now got more empathy for when you're younger and old people go on about all this stuff. Oh God, what are they going on about? Now I'm 52 and I've really had some big challenges in my life and had lots of them at once sometimes. I'm having more understanding and respect for people that it is harder to get back up. And that's one of the reasons why one of the themes in my podcasts, if you listen to or watch my podcasts regularly, is it is about actually learning how to be flexible, learning how to flow with change, and learning how to be able to soften and bend as opposed to harden and break. So it's just all about this ability to kind of to be able to uh, meet challenges, and we don't meet challenges by being inflexible, and by being rigid. We meet challenges by learning how to change things up and learning how to be flexible. And that's a bit of a theme in all of this. And I suppose one of the reasons it is a bit of a theme is because it's a theme in my life. So it's just very present for me. So, yeah. So, anyway, the other song I was just talking about is Crowded House, Distant Sun. And this song, there's a few lines in this that I found again that really resonated with me based on where I'm at right now, because I feel like I've been buried for a while, but I suppose it's a bit like a flower or a plant. They're buried, but then they grow and they see the light. So it's kind of that thing that sometimes growth does require you to be in the dark. I was actually recording a podcast the other day, and the lady I was speaking to, her name is Catherine Pinchuk, and she talked about the mud. She talked about how the orchids, is orchids, not orchids, no, lilies? No, what are the other ones that are a bit like that? I've got a picture of it in my mind, but I can't think what it's called. Anyway, a flower that basically goes down and sits in the mud and then comes up out, into the sunshine and goes back down into the mud. And that's, the thing in nature. And I think it happens in life too. And I think sometimes the growth happens in the mud. And I won't say the word because I don't want YouTube to have an issue with it, but in it as well, I'll just say that word, the stuff that you use is for fertilizer for plants, right? So essentially, spending some time in the mud, spending some time in fertilizer is what allows you to grow. And sometimes when you're in the mud, when you're in the dark, when you're in the fertilizer, in it feels like it's never going to be okay, or that you're never going to be on the other side of it. And so, in this particular song, I'm just looking for. I've sort of lost the words now. I'm just trying to find it. Yeah, it's easy to forget what you've learned, waiting for the thrill to return, feeling your desire burn and drawn to the flame. And it's that too. It's that waiting for the thrill to return. And I think that is a really big thing in life. That look, I don't think life is going to be thrilling and exciting at every moment. That's just not the reality of life. But that waiting for the thrill to return. And I think that, well, I don't think we can wait for the thrill to return, because I think that we've got to create our life, and we've got to create our reality, and we've got to bring opportunities to ourselves. I think my previous episode was all about that. Maybe the one before. I can't remember if it was 21 or anyway. Look up. There's one about opportunities just one or two episodes ago. So a lot of life is about creating those opportunities, but yeah, just that really that waiting for the thrill to return. And yeah, feeling your desire burn. And that's what I'm starting to feel like. I'm starting, what's another word for it? I feel like I'm lighting up again. And I feel like there is a flame that started, it was been there the whole time, but it's been kind of dampened down and it's been really low. And I feel like that's sort of just switching up again and heating up again. And that I'm starting to get more excited by things and I'm starting to be inspired by things. And I think I mentioned in a recent episode, again, the one where I did where I talked to Ohad Rein from Old Man River. You would know him from Old Man River, but he's done a lot of things. But that's one of his contributions, one of his musical uh, expressions. Uh, was talking to him about this, and the reason I recorded the podcast with him, it was about success and failure. It actually came out of the fact that I saw him do a post on Facebook, and he was talking about failure. And it really inspired me and it got me thinking and it kind of got me excited. And so I reached out to Ohad and said, please, would you join my podcast? And, luckily he said yes. He very kindly agreed and gave me his time. But it's just that what I'm trying to say about that is that I got a spark from just reading his post. And it's the first time I can say in a while that I've started to feel a spark from things and I've started to get excited about things. And I've started all these ideas sort of coming up now. So I really do feel like I'm sort of coming through the other side of a difficult time in my life. Look, I know that there'll be difficult times ahead too, because that is life. The truth about life, or the one consistent thing about life, is change. And the other consistent thing is that, yeah, we're all born and we all die. And that's the reality. It's what you do in those in between times, and it's how you respond to those in between times. And I'm working, really working on myself. I'm working on becoming softer. I'm working on being sort of more flexible. I'm working on practicing self care, even when I'm really frustrated with myself, and even when I want things to go faster or I want things to be different. I know that Eckhart Tolle, I've quoted him before. One of the things he says, I might get the actual wording a little bit out, so look up the quote to get it correct. But Eckhart Tolle says that a lot of anxiety and a lot of our pain and anxiety is caused by wishing we were somewhere else. So, like, wishing it was different to how it is now. So, wishing that I could be here or I could be there or this thing could be over or whatever. And unfortunately, we initially have to start by being where we're at. I've had a whole episode on this sort of topic as well, but we've got to start by being where we're at. This is where we are right now. And right now I'm in this place and I feel like I've been stuck for a long time and I feel like I'm just starting to come out the other side, and I'm so grateful for that. But I think the place, it served a purpose, and I think there was a lot of growth in there, a lot of discomfort, which is where growth happens. So my coach tells me, and so I tell my clients. The growth happens in the hard stuff. Unfortunately, I wish the growth happened in all the fun stuff, but no, the growth happens in the pain and the hard stuff and the challenges and the despair and all of that. Unfortunately, that's where the growth happens, but the growth does happen and you do come out the other side of it. And that's what I am doing. And I'm just trying to reinvent my life and find out who I am again and what kind of friend I am and what kind of what professionally what I'll be doing going forward and all of those things. I'm just trying to figure it all out, and I'm trying to be open to possibility and opportunity right now. But yeah, I just I wanted to share that with you. I just wanted to share. I feel like, well, I'm inspired by the artist Ren, who I talked about before, who is so vulnerable in his work. And I don't want to be on here having whinge sessions. It's not about me complaining or whinging. It's just me just chatting about life and my observations. And I feel like my experiences and my observations might be useful to someone else as well. So that's simply what I'm doing here, is just sharing what I'm seeing and what I'm feeling and what I'm experiencing. And you might connect with that and that you might relate to that. The other song, I don't have it in front of me, but the other song that I really like is when you two did that song Stuck in the Moment. I really like that as well. It's sort of I think they wrote that. Well, I don't know if they wrote it for, but they certainly did it as a tribute for Michael Hutchence from NXS after he'd passed away. I went to see U2, must have been not long after that, and they did it as a tribute to Michael. So I don't know if the song, you might correct me in the feedback, but I don't know if the song was about Michael, but they certainly did it as a tribute to him. But again, it's stuck in the moment. It's that whole, this is just a moment. And I think it might be this might be quoting from the Bible. I'm not sure. Again, you can correct me, but that this too shall pass, and essentially what that song's about as well. And I think that we can think moments are going to be forever, and moments aren't forever, and we can fear that we'll be stuck there forever. But you're not, and partly we need to make steps of how we're going to get to the other side, or what we're going to do, and partly we just there's a certain level of faith, and whether that's faith in God or the universe or whatever it is for you. But there is a certain level of faith, I think, to be had in sometimes knowing that this too shall pass and I will get to the other side. So anyway, just back to reminding you that I started here talking about a song called How to Be Me by Ren and Chinchilla. Ren and Chinchilla perform it, and it really is just such a beautiful, beautiful song. And they talk about my kingdom turned to dust, and I watched all my riches rust. Have I lost the Midas touch, or do sad eyes blind me? Oh, see, I'm just more and more into it. Or do sad eyes blind me? That's an episode I just did a couple of weeks ago in regards to you find what you look for. So, or do sad eyes blind me? Exactly. Sad eyes do blind us, and we can become rigid because we've been in a lot of pain, and we can really close off again because we've been in pain. So we tend to close down, close off, become rigid in relation to our pain, and our sad eyes do blind us. Oh God, man, I think I could do a 50 podcasts on just this one song. There's so many lyrics in here that are just so rich and so brilliant. Um, over and over we go, over the hills and the valleys below. Oh, and it follows me home and it suffocates me, right? So, and it's, oh, I can't breathe. I said, no, I can't breathe. All I know is I forgot how to be me. Like, that's just beautiful. So many more words to it. But have you experienced this? Have you forgotten how to be you? I know it's certainly what has happened to me, and what I'm working through and working my way out of. Yeah, I hope that you might relate to this, and you might have some inspiration from it, or ideas from it, or give me your feedback. I'd love to hear. Anyway, yeah, I really relate to a lot of the lyrics in this, and yeah, really, really relate to that. Yeah, I forgot how to be me, and now I'm relearning it, or learning the new version of it, and I'm excited to see where that leads me. But it's a bit scary. That's life, isn't it? So anyway, please go and enjoy the artist Ren. He is brilliant. He's got so many beautiful words, and great. He's a great talent on so many levels. The other song I mentioned before was "Distant Sun" by Crowded House, and I also talked about U2 "Stuck in the Moment," which is also a really good song. Anyway, I hope that you have a good week, and I hope that if you feel like me, that you understand that yeah, this too shall pass, and it, this pain or this darkness is where a lot of growth happens, and it is a normal part of life. Um, if you're really super struggling, though, please get help, get Ring Lifeline or something like that. Really do get professional help. But it is normal in life to have dark times, and we move through and past those. And I think that one of the problems is that we're told that that's not normal. It's not normal if it lasts years and years and years and years, and it's super dark. That is where you do definitely need help. But it is normal when you're going through change, and when you're not going through grief and fear and all of the different things that happen in life. It is normal to go through dark and sad phases, and that's okay. And I've accepted that that's where I've been at. I've been absolutely 100%. Well, I say 100%. My coach would argue with me on that. I've tried to be as accepting of it as I can be, and accept that it's okay for me to be sad, but it's also okay for me to start to feel better as well, and to move on and do other things in my life, and to be happy at times too. So anyway, that's what I'm working towards. But it is okay to experience lots of different emotions as a human being. That's the human that is life. Life is a whole bunch of stuff, good, bad, and everything in between. And we're here for all of it. It's all included. So that's the other thing too, is you can't have the light without the dark. The other way around, you can't have the dark without the light. You can't have happiness and joy without actually knowing despair and grief and sadness. Unfortunately, it's just all part of the human condition and all part of life. But the good thing is that there's good stuff as well. And life has its ups and downs, and you get to experience all different things. And hang in there, because there's more on the other side. Anyway, hope you have a great week, and I'll talk to you again next time. Thanks. Bye.